conference pretty much about similar things, digital twins, physical, an unfortunate phrase, the art and mixing these things up. So what we try and do today is have a panel session where people are involved very much in that aspect of art, digital and physical. So we've got a group of people here today who will introduce themselves, and then I'd like them each to talk about a case study that they've done which crosses over that. I think that's the most illustrative thing to do, is to talk about a real life example rather than talk in generalities. So just to introduce ourselves, I'll start. My name's StephenVineburg. I have a digital art practice that is really about using immersive experiences to promote engagement with people to think about contemporary social issues, climate change, lack of political leadership, digital isolation. And I believe using the immersive experience prompts people to think about these things without necessarily having a message shoved down their throats. So in that case, I use a digital art and also more recently digital fashion as a way of promoting or extending that message. So I'll just ask the other members of the panel to introduce themselves. Ellen, why don't you start?
Hello, you beautiful souls. I hope everyone is well. I am Ellen, Designs 8. I'm a healing, multi-dimensional artist. I bridge the physical, digital art mediums that I am called to embed it with my energies and transform it everywhere. I create different realms, different immersive experiences that can be geotagged all over the world, all over the places that transcend space and time, creating time capsule memories from all of the different things that we are involved in. I do a lot of collaborative art projects and different things, and I love to push the realms of what is reality by bringing you the new.
Hello?
K&J,
Yes. Hello, I'm KJ. I'm 17 and I'm an NFT artist, developer, and also a fashion designer who specializes in making clothes that can evolve itself and transform itself.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I've spoken at various different events such as, of course, NFT NYC, NFT London, NFT LA, and a bunch more. So happy to be here.
We're lucky enough to have the oldest and youngest people.
Yeah, hello. My name is Vladi, and my background is dance. I graduated Ballet Academy in Kiev in '85, and I moved to New York in '93. And in 2022, I discovered AI art, and it's an upcoming third anniversary of my adventure in AI art, and I feel that we live in a Phygital times already. And if you let me,
Yeah, why don't you start?
Some introduction to the topic. Okay. So, welcome to the Phygital times, where NFT technology is paving the way for a seamless fusion of on-chain digital assets and real-world physical experiences. From touchscreen check-ins and retail stores to QR-coded museum experiences and AR fashion try-ons, our daily lives already blend the digital and physical. But in the world of art and collectibles, the convergence is finally getting a name and a future. We already live in a Phygital era. We just haven't called it yet. The Phygital model doesn't ask us to choose between digital and physical. It encourages us to integrate both. It offers a framework that blends the emotional depth and tactile experience of the physical world with efficiency, transparency, and adaptability of the digital. Here I brought some samples where, from the digital files, you can see real-life painting, you can see video prints, and you can see fine art print, and even you can do stuff like that. And to secure files, we use NFTs, but we don't need to concentrate on an NFT. We appreciate what NFT does for us. It's a security, but we need to celebrate utility of NFTs. In our case, we need to celebrate art. And NFT is just supposed to support us as a security tool.
Thank you. Right, so Ellen, then why don't you tell us about your project?
Definitely, utility. We are the utility when you are supporting us as the artists. I love to wear and bring together my physical, digital, and beyond. So what I am wearing is a physical canvas piece that I've turned into a wearable for Wear the Drips. But more so, when you collaborate and turn your art into the things that you are wearing, you become something beyond what you are just seeing at surface level. So afterwards, you will be able to not only scan my bag and watch whatever happens from it, but also my NFT commemorative ticket also has engaging layers to it. We want to get to know artists in a more in-depth way. So bringing this together brings you the depths of the artists that you love so much. So definitely tying the physicals that we do here with the digitals, bringing it so our energies are embedded in everything. So you will see that my spoken word is embedded in the things that I do because there's layers to me as a multidimensional artist. So I'm going to bring to you the physicals, I'm going to bring to you something for you to view, but you're going to immerse in it. So my things will come to life. I will bring my spoken word to you, I will charge you, I will energize you, and this is wherever you are at. You want to meet people where they are, so accepting that people will see you at one level or dive fully in, this is what we're here for. And when we augment, when we bridge the physical and digital in these ways, it empowers what is reality. We change and alter what is to come. So I'm all about pushing the physical, pushing the future, and collaborating with powerful individuals like yourselves so that we push what is the reality, what comes next. It's us. It's our collaboration, and we're here for it, and that is what we're gonna do. So scan us, check in with us. You'll be able to also scan our speaker ticket, and afterwards you can check out the QR codes that I have that access all that. Get to know us better because we bring the physical, the immersive, the digital all together for you.
Very good.
Ow!
K&J, why don't you tell us about the project?
So, I guess I'll tell you guys about two projects. I found that people really appreciate having something that like is physical and something that they can touch, especially if it comes with the art. And I found that like for me personally, I like receiving still, like as much as I love technology and as much as I love the digital aspect of NFTs and everything like that, I also found that having something that you can hold and having something that you can wear, maybe even hang up in your house, really adds to the whole experience. So because of that, one of the projects that I did, I think it was two-ish years ago, I collaborated with a fine artist to make a collection where like I turn his style of art into, I guess, generative NFTs. Like I make every single layer and I run them through a layer shuffler, so that way we can kind of make new art pieces from his art pieces that he's done himself. And that was kind of like the first time that I had messed around with the whole physical aspect. And then from that point on, I wanted to go kind of full-fledged into having something tangible. And that's when I started my fashion line. And the first part would be to actually like design the clothing itself. As I mentioned, it's like clothing that evolves and you can transform it into different pieces with just one clothing. So from that point on, what I decided to do is kind of have some type of chip NFC tag in the back of the tag where it says like made with love, and you know that the whole aspect to serve two purposes. One, so you can have it as an NFT, and two, so it can serve as an eternal authenticity type of tag, so that way you don't have to worry about like they're being fakes, because as you know, NFTs are attached to a unique string of code that can't be replicated no matter what you do. So with that whole authenticity tag in the back, no matter what, if it doesn't match up with the whole collection, it will prove itself as fake. And yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on right now. So they're in production right now, and yeah.
So, as I mentioned before, my whole point is about using this immersive experiences to encourage people to think about contemporary social issues, yeah? So the way I've done that is with prints on walls. So I've also done things for Venice Biennale, had physical sculpture in Burning Man, and also the digital space in Burning Man. But you know, there's only so many people who can see something that's in a wallet, or even something that's on a wall, and have that experience. So fashion becomes super interesting then, because you expose what you're doing to a much broader audience, and using this immersive engagement that we've, funny how we all seem to be paddling in the same waters really, provides a bit of an unfortunate phrase, a dialogue between the person wearing the garment and the person viewing the garment. And it also creates a bit of a club or a tribe of people who then understand the meaning behind what the garment's about. And with your indulgence, just let me show you the latest thing. Hey Joe, would you mind holding that up for a minute? Thank you. So, this is a piece called AI. And what this is about, the impact of AI on our lives. So the oracle from Delphi was called Pythia, to whom the ancient Greeks would go to seek advice. And her advice to them was, know thyself. In other words, don't rely on me to give you the answers. So in this garment, Pythia has been reimagined as Pyth.ai. And in this case, Pythia, the oracle from Delphi, now gives, when you scan it, she gives a chat GPT box of text that comes out, which I can demonstrate after the show. And her advice, though, remains the same after 2,000 years, know thyself. So this is a garment that, with the QR code embedded in the design, that when someone scans it, it goes straight to Snapchat, and this filter comes alive where the photographers are photographing, the reporters are writing it down, all coming to get the advice from Pyth.ai, and yet her advice is exactly the same as 2,000 years ago. And just a couple of other points. On the back of it is the reverse of that tableau, and with another QR code hidden in the design as well. But that QR code is not active yet. And the idea is that 6 months after the release of the garment, that is activated, and you'll be able to scan that and walk through that tableau. In other words, through the people in that scene. And that sort of goes to this point of sustainability, that rather than having a garment that you get bored with and throw it away, because of this enhancement, the garment's got a new lease of life, as it were. And the other point, back to the question was asked before about NFTs and uniqueness. Inside each garment, there's 150. There is a unique QR code that takes you to a unique NFT. They're also hand numbered, each of the garments, from 1 to 150. And the idea behind the NFT is that, number one, you become part of the club or the tribe, I think maybe is a better phrase really. And also, so you've got the provenance and authenticity and all that sort of stuff, but also you become part of the people who now know the story and can tell that to other people. And if people are interested, I'm having a reception tomorrow evening at a gallery in near Union Square, which you're all welcome to come to. All the details are on my thing. I'll be there with Claire Tattersall, who is the founder of Digital Fashion Week, talking about these things. So thanks very much. Once we go back, so Elaine, what are the things that when you got you prompted to get involved in your practice then?
Definitely. So knowing that there is so much space to develop in between the physical and the digital. Yes, we can see the ones and zeros, but what happens? What is the interaction? What is the collaborative experience that occurs? Is something that I've always been fascinated with. And I wanted to see how far we can move the collaborative notion of art. So if I am creating a piece and you're interacting with the piece, your response becomes part of a far deeper relationship and an experience. So I love the idea of taking something like models and having a filter that is tracking, body tracking to them, but the audience is being brought into it because you're gonna tap on the different chakras and the different filters and the different energies you feel goes best to it. Now that became an experience that without you and without the artist, it would have never happened. So immortalizing moments and times and encapsulating pockets of joy like that is something that I am just elated by. So really expressing how all of this can be something so much more that brings us together and elevates us all to the win-win is something that I've waited for and been so excited to be sharing at this point. So definitely been waiting for a long time for this to happen and excited to see what we do next.
That's great, thank you. Like, what about how you got involved in how you started your practice?
Yes, I started to do research about AI art in the summer of 2022, so about 3 years ago. And I did different case studies and research, and I have a background in arts, and I had some knowledge of the visual arts, music, theater, and I thought that it will be useful to create visual arts. And I'm doing it for 3 years and enjoying it. And during this time, I came to the idea that we need to promote physical part of the art involved with development from digital to physical, and to make a bridge between digital and physical, because most of traditional collectors, they used to the physical art, and this way we can make a bridge for them to learn about NFTs, to learn about digital art, and this way we can achieve better understanding what we do.
Very good. Hey, Jacob,
Yeah.
yourself?
Yeah. So I mean, I've always considered myself an artist. I didn't start taking art seriously until 11, which is when I was diagnosed with my chronic illness, as some of you know. And from that point on, I think around 2020 is when I started going into digital art, and that's when my parents had told me about people selling their art online as non-fungible tokens, and that kind of interested me. So from there, I would, start going into Twitter Spaces and starting to find out like how to make my own collection. I've made one of one pieces. I've made generative ones as well, and I'd also do freelance work for people such as like logos, websites, and things like that. Until I finally combined my true passion, which was fashion. And the reason why fashion really stuck with me is because fashion is the #1 way to express yourself, no matter how you go about it. People are always gonna have clothes on, and a lot of people think seriously about like the clothes that they're wearing because that's really how you represent yourself. And as you were saying earlier, there's only so much that you can see in somebody's wallet or somebody's like actual collection before you know actually get the full gist of it. Like a regular person isn't going to go and scan or go and ask you for your wallet to see what type of NFTs that you have in your actual wallet. So that's kind of why I went into the whole fashion thing, because if somebody says, hey, your clothing looks cool, or hey, I really like what you're wearing, and you say scan here, or you make them tap their phone on the back, it like gives them a whole different experience, because not a lot of people are doing this. Yeah, some brands are like kind of diving into it, but they're not really doing a deep dive like some of us are, and that's kind of why I came up with this whole thing.
That's great, thank you. And I've got to compliment the organisers of this conference, from whether it's Jody or whoever's responsible, because they've really brought together 4 people who are pursuing very similar ideas, and it's been a almost goosebump type moment when you hear other people who are doing the same sort of thing, and when people get it, that's a very strong thing. Look, just for my part, I've started with a physical art practice, doing sculpture. I've got to tell you, monumental sculpture is a headache. compared to digital art. Digital art. I had a piece, a sculpture at the in the Venice Biennale, and as you may know, in Venice, everything has to be taken in by boat, and then on a barge, and then craned over and physically manhandled into space. The exhibitions I've done in New York and London and Paris and Brussels, everywhere, I can take it all in a USB stick to go, so that's a much better idea. But it really came about with this power of the immersive experience to aid storytelling, and I think that's really the common theme against all the 4 panelists is about using that power to get a message across. And I really think that art as well is a bit pointless unless it elicits a reaction from the viewer. Now, whether that's good humour, whether that's disgust, whether it's, but it's in my case, it's trying to get people to think about things. And I think this immersive storytelling is very powerful in that regard. Why don't we go back around the room then? So, KJ, what about where do you see your thing going now?
You know, my hopes would be for the whole brand itself to become more popular and more widespread. But, you know, I also feel that, like, with what I'm doing, I want the whole practice of having NFC tags on the back of your clothing that could turn into NFTs. I think that whole practice would be really cool and really beneficial for a lot of people because, as we know, replica clothing are only getting more and more similar and more closer to the real thing. And a lot of the time, people who are reselling clothes, sometimes they get duped, sometimes they dupe other people. And you know, who wants to spend $1,000 on something that's fake? Who wants to spend something like more than they should on something that's quote unquote worth less because it is fake? So with that whole NFT process, it makes authenticating things less of a headache. You don't have to go to the store to authenticate it. You don't have to, I guess, go and get it authenticated by like a retailer or an expert or anything like that. Because again, humans make mistakes, but at the end of the day, code and NFTs will be there forever, no matter what. It's on there forever, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's something that you can pass down to generations and so on and so forth. And you know, I think that's a really cool thing. So that's kind of where I see my brand going, just like as a more popular thing, and the whole idea of authenticating your clothes with NFTs and NFC tags as a more widespread and common practice.
Very good. Dave, yourself?
Yes. I'm celebrating 3rd anniversary of brand SurR.ai, and I'm looking for different kind of collaborations, physical, digital art, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Okay. Elaine?
I am looking forward to seeing where we are going to be going collectively further past this. So I'm really excited to see how we will be pushing technology, emerging technologies with what we have, and bringing more people who are thinking at this level. I want everyone to think bigger. If you wanted your art placed in New York City, place it yourself. Get with the people who can make that happen. Have the immersions that are you everywhere, because we want to immerse in you. That is how we win. That is how we grow. That is how we get better. So LM Designs 8 is here activating all that is around. If you're ready, let's activate together and do it in a collaborative way.
Fantastic. Yeah, look, so I'm at these range of garments coming out. They'll do physical shows, as it were, with runway and exhibition. The one tomorrow night is a bit like that down at the Capsule Studio. But I've also developed an immersive experience where you put the headset on and you come into a virtual gallery and you see these artworks in this virtual space, these garments and that. But in one case, you find yourself in Times Square, but it's literally like you're in Times Square. You go into another room, you're on outer space. You go into a third room, you're in a room where the sea waters are rising around you. Obviously, a reference to the climate change. So I think that's important, is trying to find ways to get it out. But I think back to your point, KJ, the power of fashion in particular is the ability that it affects people's lives. And I've been lucky enough to live through 2 cultural revolutions, punk rock music in the 70s and digital art in the 2020s. And they've got a number of similarities. One of them is the democratization of art, that in the 70s you pick up a guitar and start playing. Now you can pick up, you don't need to do an MFA to be a digital artist, you can do that straight away. So that opens up a lot of doors that, back in the 70s people would go to, what do you call them, thrift shops, I guess you call them, and buy jeans or clothes and cut them in pieces and model them themselves. Well, now with digital art you can make fashion that you don't need to know about the difference between a ham and a dart to be able to do that. So this is a very exciting period. I'm just sort of reminded that in 1959 the stereophonic record was invented. Until then all records had been mono. And people would buy a record of a ping pong match and take that home and invite their friends over to marvel at the sensation of a ping pong ball ricocheting across their living room on this stereophonic record. By 1967, the Beatles had created Sgt. Pepper's and elevated stereophonic music to an art form. We're really at the ping pong match stage at this stage, for sure. But I think very soon someone, maybe you, I think, will develop the Sgt. Pepper's of digital art and fashion. And that's, I think that's really the exciting time that we're in. So look, on that note, we've got 3 minutes if our time picture is accurate. So I'd invite any questions, perhaps.
I do have one.
Yes.
Thank you very much to all the panelists. And my question is about target audience for digital art. Because we know there are people who are interested in digital, there are people who are interested in physical, and what are the characteristics of the target audience of this digital art?
Okay, Ellen?
I would say that anyone who loves art is the target audience, because you don't know what you know until you know it. So if you don't know that there's levels that you can immerse in, then you will only stop at, I love this physical piece, or I just love this digital piece. And those creators who are the bridge are going to be the interoperability. We're going to show you that there's so much more than what you expect. So everyone who loves art, who has a pulse, is someone who is the target, in my opinion.
Glad we're 2 minutes. Huh?
Yeah, sure. For example, if we are talking about painting or fine art print, we are talking about collectors, traditional galleries. So maybe they can step up and invite us, and we can be represented in a real art world. And if you're talking about garments, it's accessible to everyone, and Walmart can order 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, and everybody can buy it. And also it can be with a tag, like you say, and it will from the physical piece it will be pass and a bridge to the digital art and to the verification of authenticity. Sorry for my English.
Authenticity.
Yeah. So everybody, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's basically, to make this quick, the whole aspect of making it Phygital. Again, a lot of people appreciate physical things, and a lot of people appreciate having something that they can hold or represent. And the NFT market is kind of a niche market, so by having something that's physical and something wearable, it kind of opens up that market, so that way not only people who are interested in NFTs can wear it, but people who may just be getting into it, or maybe people who don't know anything about NFTs at all can get into it. So really, by having this whole aspect, you're making your audience broader, and you're able to target not only a niche audience, but also an audience who isn't in that market at all, which I really appreciate Phygital things for that reason.
In the 10 seconds remaining, I'll use this for good cause. So if you're interested in continuing this conversation, please come along tomorrow to this reception I'm hosting at the Caption Studios. The details are on my Instagram page. It's a Luma response thing, but I'm really pleased to see you people turn up and really pleased that you've seen a group of people who are really pursuing pursuing the same ideas, and I think must be doing something right then, yeah?
Yeah.
So thanks everybody.
Yes, and
Woo!
I want to say that I was at the attendance of last year conference, and the idea of Phygital just was like developing, and today we can see that it's a trend, and the session before us was talking about the same, and so it's in the air.
That's great.
Share your socials. I'm LM Designs 8. LM are my initials. Designs is what I do. 8 is my favorite number, and I do it infinitely. Everywhere. IG, LinkedIn, all of the socials, you can find me there.
Okay.
My personal social is K&J Robots Co on Twitter. But as for my actual fashion line and what I'm doing right now, it's kom.boston on both TikTok and Instagram, and that is also the website as well.
And for me, you can find all the information at the website SurR.ai.
And I lack the imagination to think of anything different to my own name, so everything is StephenVineburg. But I did try Stevie V, but that seemed a bit puerile, so I've ended up with my own name. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.